Good morning, children. I welcome you all again to our next class of botany. In today's class, we are going to study about linkage. Already we have studied the genes which determine the character of an individual are carried by the chromosomes. Okay, so genes are present in the chromosomes, and each genes they determine the character. The genes for different characters may be present either in the same chromosome or in the different chromosome. When the genes are present in different chromosomes, they assort independently according to Mendel's law of independent assortment. So here we have already studied the law of independent assortment. When the genes they are present in different chromosomes, they assort independently. For this we studied a cross between round yellow seed and wrinkled green seed. In that we studied round and wrinkled, they are the shape, okay, and yellow and green is the color of the seed. So here we have studied in the law of independent assortment, this round shape it can pair with yellow color or it can also pair with green color. Similarly, the wrinkle can assort itself with yellow color or it can also assort with green color. So this was proved by Mendel's law of independent assortment. But later on it was found that all the organisms are they do not show these features. So biologists came across certain genetic characteristics that did not assort independently. So they found that some characters they do not assort independently in other organisms after Mendel's work. One such case was reported in sweet pea, that is Lathyrus odoratus. Okay, so here two scientists, William Batson and Reginald C. Punnett, in 1906, they saw that this independent assortment was not seen in sweet pea, that is Lathyrus odoratus. So they performed an experiment on this plant. They crossed one homozygous strain of sweet peas having purple color and long pollen grains with another homozygous strain having red flowers and round pollen grains. So here we can see this cross here. So in this cross you can see here, children. So here you can find, so they took the parental generation. So one strain, the homozygous strain, one strain that was with purple flower and long pollen. This was crossed with another parent which is again homozygous, that is red flower and round pollen. So here the alleles they are present in the two chromosomes, that is represented, purple is represented by capital P and long pollen is represented by capital L. Similarly, red flower is represented by small p and round pollen is represented by small l. So during the gamete formation, so one chromosome only P and capital L is present there, whereas in the red flower with round pollen plant, the gamete is small p and small l. So when this cross was done in the F1 generation, they found that purple flower with long pollen was found and it was heterozygous. Okay, and heterozygous purple flower with long pollen was obtained. Next, they did the test cross. So this heterozygous purple flower and long pollen, when it was crossed with the double recessive parent. So here the recessive parent is red flower and round pollen. So before that, in the F1 generation, we got the purple flower and long pollen. So this was it was found that purple flower and the long pollen is a dominant character. Okay. Next, what they did, they test cross this purple flower and long pollen plant with the recessive parent, that is red flower and round pollen. So here, purple flower and long pollen plant, they produce four type of gametes. Okay, capital P, capital L, another chromosome, capital P, small l, another gamete, small p, capital L, another gamete, small p, small l. But in the red flower and round pollen, all the gametes were alike, that is, they had small p and small l. When the crossing was done in the F2 generation, they found that four type of plants were obtained. They were purple long flower, purple round flower, red long flower, and red round. So accordingly, already we have studied in the dihybrid test cross ratio. It is found to be, if it is a dihybrid test cross ratio is done, it is found to be 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. This is the ratio. But here, when this cross was done, it was found that in the next generation, that is in the F2 generation, the purple long flower and the red round, that is the parental type, the number of progenies found were more. Okay, the number of progenies found were more, whereas the recombination, that is purple round and red long, this is the recombination type. So this recombinant progenies, the number was found to be less. So the number of progenies observed was parental progeny, purple long parental progeny, number of plants obtained was 44. Red round parental progeny, that number was again found to be 44, whereas the recombinant types, that is purple round, the number of plants were 6, red long, the number of plant was 6. So according to the dihybrid test cross ratio, the expected ratio is 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. But here in this cross, it was found that the ratio was found to be 7 is to 1 is to 1 is to 7. Okay, so here they gave the explanation for this. So here, as just what we saw in the cross, that we are going to read here now. So here William Batson and Reginald C. Punnett, they crossed homozygous strain of sweet peas having purple flower and long pollen grains with another homozygous strain having red flower and round pollen. All the F1 progenies had purple flower and long pollen grains, indicating purple flower and long pollen was dominant over red flower and round pollen. When they crossed the F1 with the double recessive parent, that is the test cross was done, it results in F2 progenies did not exhibit 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1 ratio as expected with independent assortment. A greater number of F2 plants had purple flowers and long pollen, or red flowers and round pollen. So here these two are the parental types, purple flower and long pollen. This is one parent, and red flower and round pollen, this is the another parent. So the number of F2 plants, these plants, they were more, the parental type plants were more. So they concluded that the genes for purple color and long pollen grains and the genes for red color and red round pollen grain were found close together in the same homologous pair of chromosome. Okay, so they found that the purple and the long pollen gene, they are present together in a same chromosome. Similarly, red and round pollen characters, they are the genes are present close together in the chromosome. So these genes, they do not allow themselves to be separated. So they do not assort independently. So this type of tendency of the genes to stay together during separation of chromosome, this is called as linkage. Okay. So here, according to independent assortment, what should happen? Purple can match with long as well as with the round. So they could have independently assorted. The number of progenies could have been obtained equally. But here in this experiment, in the Lathyrus auratus, this was found the parental type progenies were more and the recombinations were less. So this indicated the genes which are present, the parental type, the genes were present close to each other, and these genes, they were not separated, they did not assort independently. So the reason for them, it was said that they shows a linkage. So this type of tendency of genes to stay together during separation of chromosome is called as linkage. Next, you are going to study about the linked genes and the unlinked genes. Now, genes located close together on the same chromosome and inherited together, they are called as the linked genes. So, the genes which are present together in the same chromosome, okay, and they passed on together to the next generation, then it is called as linked genes. But the two genes that are sufficiently far apart on the same chromosome, they are called as unlinked genes or syntenic genes, and this condition is called as synteny. So here you can see here in this diagram, figure 3.3. In the first diagram you can see the chromosome. In the first chromosome, they contain the two genes, gene 1 and gene 2. They are close to each other. Okay, so they are said to be linked genes. In the second diagram you can see, so gene 1 is present in one chromosome, gene 2 is present in another chromosome. So these two genes, they are present in the homologous chromosome, they are present in different chromosomes, so they are said to be unlinked genes. In the third condition, you can see in the same chromosome, but gene 1 and gene 2, the locus of gene 1 and gene 2, they are far apart. So again, these two genes, again they are said to be what? Unlinked genes. So here from this you can understand, if the genes are present very close to each other in the same chromosome, then it is called as linked genes. If these genes are present in separate chromosome, or they are kept found in far apart in the same chromosome, then it is said to be unlinked genes. Next here you can see here, it is to be differentiated by the value of recombination frequency. Now how this recombination frequency is calculated? So recombination frequency is the total number of recombinants, how many recombinants are obtained, divided by total number of progeny. Okay, number of recombinant plants divided by total number of plants into 100. Okay, so from this we can calculate the recombinant frequency. Now if the recombinant frequency value is more than 50%, so here when we the recombination divided by total number of plants into 100, if you get the value above 50%, that means the genes, they are unlinked genes. Okay, so recombination is possible there. The genes, they are far apart, then only the recombination is possible. So if the recombination frequency value is found to be above 50%, the two genes, they show they are unlinked. When the recombination frequency value is less than 50%, okay, recombination plants, they are obtained less. So here that shows the genes, they are linked together. So this you can easily understand by, if you take a small thread, just an activity, take a thread of 15 centimeter length and another thread of 1 centimeter length. Just try to put the knot. Okay, so the two ends of the thread, that represents the locus of the gene. Okay, so here putting a knot is easier in a 15 centimeter long thread, whereas putting a knot in a 1 centimeter 1 centimeter thread, it is difficult. Yes, so this indicates that if the genes, they are close together, recombination will be less. If the genes, they are far apart, the recombination will be more. Okay, so hope you have understood this linked genes and unlinked genes. Next we are going to study about coupling and repulsion theory. If two dominant alleles or recessive alleles occur in the same homologous chromosome, they tend to inherit together into same gamete, and they are called as coupling or cis configuration. Okay, so two dominant alleles. So here you can see in this diagram, figure 3.4, the first one you can see the two chromosomes, the two homologous chromosome. Homologous chromosome, you know, that is one comes from the male parent, one the same type of chromosome, but one from the male parent, another from the female parent. So here two dominant alleles, if the homologous chromosome, one chromosome, they contain the dominant alleles capital A and capital B, that represent the dominance, they are present in one chromosome, and the recessive, that is small a and small b, they are present in the another chromosome. So two dominant alleles or recessive alleles occur in the same homologous chromosome. They tend to inherit together into the same gamete or called coupling or cis configuration. So here when the gamete formation will take place, so here capital A, capital B chromosome, this will move as it is. This small a, small b, they will be present together. So this is called as coupling. Next, if the dominant or the recessive alleles are present in two different, so here you can see again two homologous chromosome. In one chromosome A is dominant, B is recessive. Similarly, in the another chromosome A is recessive, B is dominant. So if the dominant or recessive alleles are present on two different but homologous chromosome, they inherit apart into different gametes. So this dominant and recessive will be together. Okay, that is the dominant and the capital A and capital B will tend to remain separately. This arrangement is called as repulsion. So here again I explaining, if the cis configuration, if the dominant alleles are present together in a chromosome or the recessive alleles are present together in a chromosome, when they inherit also they will be present as it is. This is called as coupling. Here next, the trans, if the dominant allele they are present separately, as you can see here, capital A is present in one chromosome, capital B is present in another chromosome. Similarly, if the recessive alleles are present separately, small a in one chromosome, small b in another, they tend to remain separately, they will be inherited separately. This is called as trans configuration. So here we can see one cross here for the cis and trans configuration. So already we saw the cis configuration here. So if the both the dominant alleles, that is the purple flower and long pollen, they are present in one chromosome. Okay, purple and long is the dominant, red and round is the recessive. So here we have studied the purple and the long will tend to remain together and the red and round will tend to remain together. As a result only we got the purple long and red round number of progeny is more. So here we got the ratio, the coupling ratio we got here as 7:1:1:7. Okay, so this already I explained you this cross. Next we will be seeing the trans configuration, the cross alleles in repulsion or trans configuration. So here you can see that is the purple flower with round pollen. Purple is the dominant trait, round is a recessive. They both are present together in a chromosome. Similarly, red flower and long pollen. Red is a recessive trait, long is a dominant trait. So here the dominant and the recessive trait are present together in the parental type. Okay, so this is called as a trans configuration. So here when the gamete formation is taking place also, in the one chromosome it will be in the gamete also it will contain capital P, small l. Another in the red flower and long pollen it will have small p and capital L. So here when the F1 generation again we will be getting what? Purple flower with long pollen, but the alleles they are separated, they are present in their own chromosomes. Next here when the crossing is done, this heterozygous purple flower and long pollen is crossed with the red flower round pollen, that is the recessive parent. So here again the gametes, four type of gametes we are getting from the heterozygous purple flower and long pollen, and from the red flower we are getting only one type of gamete. So in the F2 generation again we are getting what? Four type of plants: purple long, purple round, red long and red round. So here you have to remember the parental type is what? Purple round is our parental type. The parental is what? Purple round. Okay, so here it is found the purple long, the number of progeny is found to be less. Okay, here the parental type is purple round and red long. So the here again the parental type is found in more. Okay, whereas the recombinant, that is the purple long and red round is the recombinant here in this case. So the number of recombinant progeny here it is less. 6 plants are produced in each. So here the ratio is found to be 1:7:7:7:1. So this is said to be repulsion ratio is said to be 1:7:7:1. So coupling ratio is 7:1:1:7, whereas the repulsion ratio is 1:7:7:7:1. So hope it's clear for you children, cis and trans configuration. So as we have already studied cis and trans configuration, if the dominant alleles are present together in the chromosome, the dominant or the recessive alleles they are present together in the chromosome, they tend to remain together, they will be inherited together. if the dominant and the recessive alleles, they are present separately in separate chromosomes, they tend to inherit together. So this, when the dominant or the recessive present together in a chromosome, that is called as cis. When the dominant and the recessive, they are separately present in the chromosome, that is called as transconfiguration. Next, we are going to study about the kinds of linkage. Now, T.H. Morgan found two types of linkage. They are complete linkage and incomplete linkage, depending upon the absence or presence of new combination of linked genes. So here Morgan classified the linkage into two, complete and incomplete, depending upon the recombinants. Okay, how many new type of recombination is obtained? Based on that, they classified the linkage into complete linkage and incomplete linkage. So first, let's study about complete linkage. If the chances of separation of the two linked genes are not possible, those genes always remain together. As a result, only parental combinations are observed. Okay, so here you can understand here the linked genes are located very close together on the same chromosome. Two linked genes are present very close together in a chromosome. Then, as we already studied, if it is a linked genes, recombination will be less. Such genes do not exhibit crossing over. Crossing over again is a recombination of the genes only. So here such genes, they do not exhibit crossing over. This phenomena is called as complete linkage. So here, as we have studied, if the chances of separation of the two links are not possible, so here since the two genes, they are linked together, the chances of their separation is not possible. Okay, so what will happen? They will remain together and they will exhibit the parental type. No new recombination will be formed. Then it is called as complete linkage. So again, for the definition of complete linkage, the linked genes are located very close together on the same chromosome. Such genes do not exhibit crossing over. The result of the crossing over is recombination. So here no crossing over is taking place, no recombination is taking place. This phenomena is called as complete linkage. Now this is complete linkage is very rare, but it has been reported in male Drosophila. Male Drosophila, it has been reported. C.M. Bridges discovered that crossing over is completely absent in some species of male Drosophila. Next, you are going to study about incomplete linkage. So, incomplete linkage, if two linked genes are sufficiently far apart, okay. So, here when the two linked genes, they are at a greater, they are separated, they are at two different locus. The chances of their separations are possible. So, here the linked genes, they are far apart. So, here the chances of the separation is possible. As a result, parental and non-parental combinations are observed. The linked genes exhibit some crossing over. This phenomena is called as incomplete linkage. So here the two neighboring genes, but they are at far apart. But since they are at a distance, here the crossing over is possible. New recombination is possible. So parental type and the non-parental type, that is the recombinants, are obtained. So this phenomena is called as incomplete linkage. This was observed in maize and it was first reported by Hutchinson. Next, you are going to study about, so here you can see incomplete linkage in male Drosophila. You can see here. Red eye with vestigial wings, they are the male, and purple eye and long wings, they are the female. So here red as well as the vestigial wings, red is dominant, is represented by capital R, and the vestigial wings, it is the represented by small l. Similarly, purple eye is represented by small r, and the long wings represented by capital R. So here when the crossing is over, so here you can find the F1 generation, we are getting red eye and long wings, okay, heterozygous condition. Next again, when the test cross is done, test cross with purple eyes and vestigial wings, that is the recessive character. So when the crossing is done, and this heterozygous variety is crossed with this recessive variety. So here what we are getting in the F2 generation, red eye vestigial wings and purple eye long wings we are obtaining here. So here it is obtained in the ratio of, so here actually the expected ratio is 1:1:1, but here what we are getting only 1:1, that is only the parental types we are getting. Okay, red eye and vestigial wing is a parental type, and purple eye and long wing is the another parental type. So here we are getting only the parental type, no new recombination we are getting here. So this type of cross is called as what? A complete linkage. So complete linkage is seen in male Drosophila. Similarly, incomplete linkage in maize seed. So here colored full seeds, and next one is colorless shrunken seed is taken. So here colored full seeds, so they are the dominant trait, and colorless shrunken seed, they are the recessive trait. So here when the crossing is done, so here again what we are getting, F1 generation, colored full seed we are getting, heterozygous colored full seed we are getting. So again when the test cross is done with the colorless shrunken seed, so what we are getting, the colored full seed, colored shrunken, colorless full seed and colorless shrunken seeds. So colored full seed and colorless shrunken seed, they are the parental type, as well as the recombinants are obtained. So this is said to be what? The incomplete linkage here. Okay children, next we are going to study about the linkage groups. The groups of linearly arranged linked genes on a chromosome, they are called as linkage groups. So linearly arranged linked genes on a chromosomes, they are called as the linkage groups. In any species, the number of linkage groups corresponds to the number of haploid set of chromosome. So as we know, in the haploid set of chromosome, the total number of genes present for each character, that will represent the linkage group. So for each species, their linkage groups varies. So for example, here in the Mucor, the linkage group is 2. Drosophila 4, that is the representing the number of haploid set of chromosome. Sweet pea 7, Neurospora 7, maize 10. So linkage group corresponds to the number of haploid set of chromosomes. Next we are going to study here a comparison between linkage and crossing over. Okay, next topic will be studying crossing over. Just a comparison you can see here. Linkage, the genes present on the chromosome stay close together. So as we studied in the linkage, if the genes are present together on the chromosome, they tend to remain together. Whereas in crossing over, it leads to the separation of the linked genes. The genes, there is exchange of the segment is taking place. So here the linked genes, they are separated during crossing over. The linked genes, they are separated, whereas in the linkage, the genes, they are not separated, they remain together. Next difference, it involves same chromosome of homologous chromosome. So linkage, here what is happening in the homologous chromosome, the same chromosome, the same between the same homologous chromosome, it is taking place, whereas crossing over, it involves the exchange of segments between the non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosome. So here in the crossing over takes place between the, as we know, each chromosomes, they have two chromatids. Okay, each chromosome has two chromatids. Two chromatids are called as the sister chromatids, but the crossing over takes place between the non-sister chromatids, whereas linkage, it takes place in the same chromatids. Okay, linkage, it reduces new gene recombination. So if there is a linked genes are there, that will result into less recombination, whereas crossing over, it increases variability by forming new gene combination and lead to formation of new organism. So here recombination is less in linkage, whereas recombination is more in crossing over. So with this we complete today's topic. In the next class we will be studying about crossing over and its mechanism in detail. Thank you children.